So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Brenda Jones, and I am UWA's Transfer Admissions Counselor. I'm the only one on campus, so I'm kind of like a department of one, but I work with an outstanding admissions team here in my office, as well as outstanding UWA faculty, staff, and students. And today I have the pleasure and the honor of introducing some of those team members to you from our education department, both faculty and students. So I'd first like to introduce Susan Hester, who is our director of UWA Black Belt Teacher Corps, and she's going to be sharing about, first of all, what is the Black Belt? I know some of our students may not be familiar with that term. She's going to talk to us about the origins of the Black Belt Teacher Corps program, and she's going to tell us some basics about that. So I'd like to just say welcome to Ms. Hester. Where are you? Wave at us. There she is. Okay. Next, we have Ms. Banks-Gordy, who's the coordinator of our Black Belt Teacher Corps, and she is going to delve into some more specifics about the student benefits that are afforded to our Black Belt scholars. And this is whether they're interested in early education, early childhood, elementary, or the secondary track. So I want to say welcome to Ms. Gordy. Can you give us a little wave? There she is. And speaking of our scholars, I have two just unbelievable student leaders sitting here with us today. And they are not only Black Belt scholars, but they're leaders on our campus in so many different organizations. Christopher Dunn. Christopher, say hi. That's Christopher. Christopher is currently serving as our SGA president on campus. He is an Ambassador Leadership Council member. He is a Kappa Delta Pi Honor Society member and a Blue Key Honor Society member. Christopher is actually filling in for one of our professors who couldn't join today. Have a lot of faith in his knowledge and his ability to communicate wonderful things about our collaborative teacher special education program. So he's going to be talking to you about that today. And I want to say welcome, Christopher. Thank you for being here with us. All right, next we have Miss Tiffany Webb, whose birthday it is today. Happy birthday, Tiffany. Tiffany is also a Julia S. Tutwiler Scholar, an Ambassador Leadership Council member, Kappa Delta Pi Honor Society, and Blue Key Honor Society member. Tiffany, one of the reasons that I asked Tiffany to be here, other than she's fantastic, is that Tiffany was a transfer student to UWA and wants to be able to share with students what that process was like for her. And she's also going to talk about her trip that she and Christopher got to take together to China to actually go and teach over there. And she's also going to talk about how the Black Belt Scholarship has impacted her as a student. So we are so excited to get to hear from all of these wonderful people. If you will give me just a moment to briefly share just a little bit about our transfer admissions process, I'm going to talk about that, and then I'm going to turn it over to our wonderful panel. So let me share my screen with you. Okay. So if you don't know much about UWA, we are located in West Alabama, kind of on the border with Mississippi. And as far as Lawson is concerned, we are about 2 hours from Lawson's campus. This is my contact information. Ms. Haley has this. So students, I'll share this in the chat box, but I also wanted you to know that Ms. Haley, you can always get in touch with me. We are very, very good friends at this point. Ms. Haley, I appreciate your friendship. I do. One of the things that we are known for at the University of West Alabama is personal attention for students. And we pride ourselves on not letting students be a number. I know you hear that from a lot of small colleges. That's a lot of their battle cry, but I've seen it in action here. Students are not left to fend for themselves, and we do handhold where it's needed, but we also try to let students become leaders, like the two young people that you see sitting in front of me. All right, so here's where we're located. Like I said, about 2 hours away. A little bit about the transfer process. We try to make this as simple as possible. You apply online. You pay your application fee. That is right now at $30. You'll submit your transcripts from all schools that you've attended and test scores if they're required. What do I mean by that? If you have less than 24 transferable credit hours, you do have to meet freshman admission requirements. So we would need ACT scores. But if you have above that 24 number, you would just submit your GPA from your community college. Okay. So we have over 90 degree programs in 5 different colleges. So natural science and mathematics is one, and you can see our degree program offerings here. I'll give you just a second to look over that. And then after natural science and mathematics, we have health sciences and human performance. Athletic training is a big draw here. R.T. Floyd runs that program. He's been here since 1974. He literally writes the textbook that our college and lots of other colleges use to teach. We have our liberal arts degree, a lot of different wonderful things going on in that program. Business and technology. We are one of the few college campuses in Alabama that accept technical credits for students. We accept up to 42 technical credit hours. A lot of students, it's a draw for them because they feel like they're not going to be successful because none of their credits are going to count. Well, here they do. And if anybody has questions about that, I would love to give you more information about technical credits. Okay, education is the business, is the program that we're discussing today. I cannot wait for our panel to tell you all the exciting things that are going on. And then nursing. Exciting thing that's happening with nursing is we have a brand new 4-year BSN program that's starting in spring of 2021. Okay, and then a little bit about tuition and costs. $19,340 is in-state tuition has been frozen, so it will not increase. The last 3 years, actually, it has not increased. Just to let you know, so that number doesn't become quite so scary, 97% of our students receive some type of aid to come to school here. So we don't believe cost should be a reason that students should not come to school, because our financial aid department does a fantastic program of putting together packages that meet students' needs. We also have programs like work study. And in just a second, I'm going to talk to you about scholarships from my office. And then Ms. Hester is going to talk to you about scholarships that will stack on top of those, because our admissions scholarships are stackable. So if your students have at least a 3.0 GPA, they can qualify for 3 levels of awards ranging from $3,000 to $4,000. Because Lawson is a partner school, if students are recipients of that scholarship, they also qualify for a first-year $2,000 on-campus housing scholarship to kind of cut the cost there. We're excited because we've never done that before, so this kind of rolled out this year. Okay, so I am now going to turn our program over to Ms. Hester to talk to you about what she does and how she helps students.
Thank you, BJ. We're so excited to be able to share with Ms. Haley and with the others about the Black Belt Teacher Corps Scholarship Program. And it's officially now called the Black Belt Teacher Corps Teach for Alabama Scholarship Program. And it began as an idea. There is a educational advocate, and he had done some writing for the State Department. He's a journalist, and his name is Larry Lee. And he approached Dr. Tucker, our president, and Dr. Jan Miller, our dean at the College of Ed, and said that he thought that it would be great if we could find a scholarship that would fund Alabama teachers to go into the field of teaching. You know, you hear a lot about Teach for America, and they come in and they fulfill their commitment and then they're gone. They usually go to medical school or go into law school, and you never see them again. And so he wanted the idea to fund a scholarship where you were actually training teachers that wanted to live in your communities, that wanted to educate your children. And that's where the idea came from. And Representative Bill Poole is the one that authored the legislation. And then, of course, we had the support of Senator Bobby Singleton and Representative A.J. McCampbell and Representative Ralph Howard. So once it was supported, it began in October of 2016. And then I took this position in July of 2017. And the scholarship is open to any junior or senior level College of Ed certification degree student. And so this scholarship requires that you are in a degree program that will lead to teacher licensure. And you have to have a passing praxis course score, a GPA of 2.75 or higher, and you also have to never have defaulted on a school loan or something like that. Then you can apply, and the award is at the minimum up to 4 semesters at $2,500 per semester. And so there have been times too where there has been extra money where I could change that $2,500 to $3,000 a semester. It just sort of depends on the funding. And in this case, I was not able to have person-to-person in service this year. And so that was always a big part of my budget. And now that it's virtual, takes away a lot of those costs. And so I was then able to, instead of me using those costs, pass that on to my students as a way to up their scholarship. And so I taught for 32 years in Meridian. And one of the things, I just have a heart for students. And so I try to be a really good steward of that money. And I try to always make sure that their needs are met first. And I really am proud of the way that I make decisions in terms of budget. And so they also, let me tell you something else that's neat about the scholarship. If they sign up for the full scholarship, they have the opportunity to receive $1,000 from me as kind of a startup fund. And they are able to do a service project either in the school where they're doing their internship, or school in their hometown, or in their community. And the idea is to have that $1,000 be seed money, and to talk with the principal, to talk with the superintendent and say, what are some of your needs? What are some things I can do? It's a great foot in the door too if you hope to teach at that school. But the idea is that you start the project and then it grows on its own. And I have a great example. I had a student in my first cohort, Ali Marquez, and she started a community garden just at one of the elementary, middle, high schools in Demopolis. They have now taken ownership of that at the elementary school, and they raise vegetables and donate them to the local food bank of the community. And so it's a way for you to give back and to provide service, and also to practice good leadership. I kind of have a sliding scale. One of the things about the payback for the scholarship is that you're required to do service teaching. And that means within your first years of teaching, your first 3 years, you're required to either teach in a black belt region school, and the black belt is kind of that mid belt of Alabama. Stretches across, and it's called that because of the black, rich, fertile soil. This was very much an agricultural region of the state. And because of that, and as times change and jobs become more technical, there's been, population decline. And so the idea is to provide these students with absolutely the best teacher that they can possibly have. And so part of that is through service teaching. And so if you take 1 semester of my money, let's say you're doing your internship, I just require you to have 1 year of service teaching. If you take 2 semesters of money, I require 2 years of service teaching. And if you take the full scholarship, 3 or more semesters, it's for 4 years. But this past year, our budget was able to be increased. And so now we not only can serve the Black Belt region, we can serve any rural district, any rural school in the state of Alabama, which is a lot, most of the state. And then also we can have teachers serving high needs school. You might think of that as a low performing school or a Title I school. And so it really has opened up and diversified my scholarship. And so now I have scholars that range from North Alabama to Mobile and everywhere in between, which has been really exciting for us. And it is that it only has to be an approved school by Black Belt to meet those requirements, and then be a public K-12 school in the state of Alabama. And the other thing too is, when she mentioned about Tiffany being the Tutwiler Scholarship, I'm also in charge of that. And this is just a little small scholarship, and we usually offer 2 to 3 a year. And students apply in May, and then of course, they're notified during I think maybe they apply in April and I notify them in May. This one does not have the age level. It doesn't, you don't have to be a junior or senior, you can even be a freshman. It is for any deserving student that shows an interest in the field of education. And so it gives them $1,000, I put it before the selection committee. They get $1,000 for their fall semester, and then they receive $1,000 for their spring semester. So it makes a really good companion scholarship to talk about. because I manage both of those. And so that one is trying to even entice people as a way to encourage
Mhm.
them to think about a career in
In
education.
education. I
And so
love it.
now, I do too. And so now Banks 40, who's my coordinator, she's going to talk. In addition to the scholarship money, there are so many perks for being a Black Belt Teacher Corps scholar.
Hey, I'm Banks 40, and I'm the coordinator for the Black Belt Teacher Corps. And I was blessed to take this position with Miss Hester last year, and it's been such a blessing for me. And it truly is. You truly become family with these students, and
Mhm.
we really have phone contact with each one of them each week. You know, with what their needs are, what they need help with. You know, what they're doing, where they're going. They'll pop in the office and, oh, Miss Hester, I need help, you know, or hey, help me with this or that or the other. When I started last year, we began in the fall, it was a series of training called Kagan Structures. And that was all about teachers being able to engage every student in the classroom. We had a 5-part series. Due to COVID, unfortunately, we're still awaiting 4 and 5 because schools not only don't want us to come to them yet right now, but we can't have people on campus. So it really is a training that we want to do, finish off in person because it's just so hands-on that we haven't really opted out to finish it out the virtual way, but we're still kind of holding out to see. Hopefully, we're praying for a vaccine
or something.
Oh.
Yeah, so we that training. But we were, Kagan also offered a virtual training right before school started that helped with COVID-19 and different practices and things like that. And we offered it to those attendees and paid for them to do it. And we got great feedback from them as well on that.
And every Black Belt scholar comes to every workshop.
Right,
it's not just for teachers in the area, which they are invited, but number one, every Black Belt comes first.
They're first, and then whoever our Black Belt is first, and then if we have leftover room, then we reach out to our partner districts, and which is great for our Black Belt because then they have collaboration with
That's right.
service teachers as well. So it's a really great opportunity for them. One thing that I'm really excited about, as you know, our education students have to take the Praxis. Praxis Core, Praxis 2. And so Susan found, well, we went to Atlanta to,
it was Allocated.
Okay, and met this group, Nava Ed. And they offer an online course. It's with interactive content and practice that helps students prepare for the Praxis test. So we went through, broke down every Black Belt Teacher Corps student scholar that we have and saw where they were having trouble, what they needed help with, and what they had left to take, what they passed, what they haven't passed. We broke down, and through Nava Ed, we're able to offer each Black Belt scholar specifically what they need. So it is wonderful. So if we say we have one scholar that needs math and writing, then they are in this system, and it breaks down to webinars. They have PDFs. We bought a hard copy book for them. They can take the Praxis, they can take the test and retake it as many times as they want. And then as far as administrators go, we get to go in and see, you know, how they're doing, how they, you know, advanced with it and what they need help with. And then we'll do that with the Praxis 2 as well. So
how early can this begin as far as the training with the Nava Ed? Like how early?
But we just found out about it this spring, right before, you know, it was time, right before COVID hit.
Right.
And so it really has been relatively cost efficient for us, I believe, you know, rather than having different, a face-to-face.
Right.
So Banks and I had talked about that because I'll have some that will come in the next semester and maybe they have not passed the core. And so it's something that we would like to keep going. And so surely if I would get them, I'll tell you the difference, Ms. Haley. The difference used to be that before you could ever get in teacher ed, you had to pass the Praxis core.
That's right.
So I never saw a student until they had passed the Praxis core Corps because they had to have that before they could apply for a scholarship. Well, now in the time of COVID, that has been relaxed some where you can be admitted to the teacher ed program, but maybe internship or the senior year, there is a stopgap there where you have to pass the Praxis Corps.
Okay.
And so I don't know how long that will last. I don't know if this change will be permanent, but if it does, then it would give me the chance for the juniors that are coming in that apply for my scholarship, that then we could start on your Praxis Corps because you would be available to apply for my scholarship now with that rule relaxed.
Right.
That's a great benefit, and it
Yeah,
also
really
seems like a
is.
wonderful networking opportunity because that's discouraging for students.
It is. And
Yeah,
some of them don't have access to materials,
Right.
know what they really need to access. And this NAVA Ed really breaks it down. And, you know, they have webinars. He said that he's got, you know, teachers that walk around with AirPods
Yeah.
on and listening to the training and getting it and just
Yeah.
hammering it down. So they're really a great company. And another thing that has worried us a little bit is now, like, say they take the core, the 3-part core, and they didn't pass one part of that, there's a 35-day
Guaranteed.
that they can't retake.
Yes,
you know,
35 days
they-
in between taking the Praxis. You used to take it once every 3 weeks.
Right.
Now they extended that to 35 days, and so that even shortens the
When you-
amount of times
right.
you can take the
When you break down
Praxis.
a semester, that's not many times
Yeah.
that you can take it.
That's
We're trying to do everything we can
prepare them for when they do
to get
take.
them in there to take it and knock it out and move on.
Mhm.
Anyway, so that's my favorite thing that I'm working with right
Yeah, that's exciting. That really stood out to me. I was, because I worked at other 4-year institutions with educational majors in the practice and how discouraging.
Yeah.
They'll get the degree, but they can't pass the practice.
Right.
Yeah, so it's discouraging.
On top of that, one thing that is great, and I know Christopher and Tiffany can add to this as well, but you know, if there's materials or things that Susan sees that we need, she's like, thanks, we need to get them iPads. We need to do swivels because now things are going to virtual. If there's literature out there that we think that they need, we're able to buy that and give what these students need to make it available and good and ready to go for them, because we know that there's different situations and some don't, have access to internet. And so we try and give them every opportunity we can to make it accessible for them. I mean, we hopped in the car 2 weeks ago,
That's right.
traveled to Birmingham, delivered, and my husband and I actually on the way to Mobile last week, we met a teacher in the parking lot of Aldi's in Mobile. We're like, here's your iPad.
Yeah.
He's like, thank you.
Yeah, so comfortable ushering my students. Me and BJ talk about this all the time. Miss Jones, again, we don't want to handicap you guys, Tiffany and Christopher. Like, we really don't want to but we want to help you, right?
Right.
Like, sometimes you have to have that support, and just taking an extra step, knowing that there are people on campus, that's intimidating. I know Tiffany can agree. Coming from a 2-year institution to a 4-year institution, that could be
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
a little intimidating to them. So therefore, to know that they have not just a great admissions liaison, high five, Ms. Jones, but they also got great departmental liaisons as well. So I look forward. I really look forward to working with you guys.
And let me give you one perk I forgot, Ms. Haley. After they graduate and they are licensed teachers, Banks and I will continue to keep them in our system when we mentor them for 3 years after graduation. So those first hard years of teaching, usually we have a lot of tears in August.
Yeah.
But we still include them in every workshop, every material, everything that we can hopefully make them the best teacher that can possibly teach those students in that classroom. And that's really what we want. Every child deserves the best someone can give.
Right.
That's true.
Wow.
That
We
is so
totally
true.
had to switch gears a little bit though, because
Yeah.
we love being in person and
Yeah.
seeing everybody and hugging them, and
It's the acclamation for us all. We are all trying to figure it out, but we have to, we have to make it work. So,
and it's
Right.
not
it's
just
just a
this way.
transition.
Yeah, right.
So it's a great scholarship. If you have people that think that they are interested in teaching and they would like to apply, our information, and I'll get your email address.
Okay.
But we have a web page that has just even the scholarship application and some additional information. If, that would be available if they wanted to read over it. And
I
then-
viewed you guys' webpage.
Okay, good, because I usually will accept scholarships. I think this time I accepted them until about the,
I think it was like,
it was early in August. I
Yeah,
tried to
I
hold
think
off
through the
as long
summer,
as I
right.
could.
Mhm.
Most of them I had in July, but I had a few stragglers that I, was able to do that first week of August.
Yeah.
Then the good thing is I award those scholarships. My new money comes in October. So let's say that someone showed up in September and said, I didn't know about this scholarship. I wish I could have applied. They still have that option to apply. It will just be in October where I'll be able to fund their scholarship.
Oh, that's
But
great.
try to find a way to make it work.
Mhm. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I know this is the first time that you guys have met each other, but I just want to say that listening to you, Ms. Haley, just to talk about the level of care that you have for your students, and you say, hand holding, but I know that you do raise up leaders too.
Oh God, it's so rough for me right now. They're not here, and it just
But the
makes me-
transition from, we're talking about partnership, the transition from Lawson to UWA, they're going to get exactly what you're providing, and even beyond. I did not know about the mentorship beyond graduation, Ms. Esther and Ms. Banks. That is phenomenal information. Thank you all just for sharing that. And if you guys are ready, we'll hear from Christopher, who is benefiting from this scholarship. So Christopher, are you ready to share?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So tell us about the collaborative teacher program.
Yeah, absolutely. So I just started my senior year of collaborative teaching. So in the fall of 19, I traveled to China and came back and found out the opportunity had come up that we could swap. I came here originally as a special ed major, strictly. I was doing K-6 special ed. And the opportunity became to all of us that we could swap to a 3-in-1 major. So we would be getting certification in early childhood special ed and elementary. So obviously that is something that I definitely wanted to do. I had worked at the after school program at University Charter School, and I'd realized that, maybe I don't want to limit myself to just special ed. I would love the opportunity to work with mainstream students in the classroom. So I started my junior block semester last fall and started junior block in the spring, went all the way through that. Tough semester, but it was absolutely amazing. I learned so much, and then took some classes over the summer, and then now I'm here in senior block. I'm taking a few classes and doing field experience. That's where we are today. We're at our field experience placement, working with students. I'm in 3rd grade this semester. It's a new experience for me. I was in 2nd grade last spring, so I've seen kind of 2 different factors and 2 different schools. And so that's the phenomenal part of it, is that we have these partnerships with these schools in these surrounding areas that we get the opportunity to go into and see actual classrooms.
And that's called field experience.
Yes.
Okay, that's awesome.
2 field experience placements before we go into our internship phase. And so within junior block and senior block, you'll go into the schools 2 days a week and you'll participate in a classroom. So you have your teacher, your operating teacher, and she or he are going to guide you in what you're supposed to be doing. So you're going to do lesson plans. You're going to interact with the students, kind of learn every kind of aspect that you could possibly think of for every kid in your classroom and get to know them. You get attached in a semester. I didn't realize how quickly you could do that, but it's an amazing opportunity. But with that said, we work on signature assessment. And so we were talking about Praxis, but not only do we do Praxis in the state of Alabama, we do EdTPA. And so EdTPA is a requirement for the state of Alabama to get certified in your education program. And so we do these things called signature assessments in junior block and senior block. And these assessments are to prepare us for that final phase of, in our internships, we participate in EdTPA. And so my biggest thing, and I commend every single person that works in the education department, because they are wholeheartedly here for us and they're making every opportunity that we have laid out on the floor for us, and we just have to pick it up and run with it. And so with that, we have classes, we constantly text our teachers. They're constantly texting us, sending us emails, checking in, seeing how things are going. And then, of course, we go into those classrooms in our class day and we discuss what we have seen during the week, what we saw the week prior. And that's just real life experience. And that's the best possible thing that you can do. You're not going to learn anything of how to be an effective teacher unless you're out in the field and actually doing it. And so UWA has definitely offered us that and given us that opportunity.
That's great. That is so great. I love the field experience with the local schools near the university. So oftentimes, do the students get a chance to actually maybe come to the campus, the little babies, the third
Miss-
grade?
Miss Hester and Miss Gordy, would you guys talk about that? I wrote that down while Christopher was talking. Just about what it means to have the University Charter School on our campus at UWA. What does that add to our students' experience?
Well, I'll tell you, Miss Haley, they do get to go to the school because it is in the same building as the College of Ed. And
Oh,
so we have one side and the whole other two sides are for the University Charter School.
okay.
So it is a K, I think 9 or 10, K-10
This year.
Alabama
Add a year.
public school, charter school, and they'll add a year until it becomes a K-12, a pre-K-12 actually. And so what that has done for the College of Ed and this University Charter School is that we have a real partnership. And so here we're able to have the professors that teach the
Very good.
coursework
I feel like I was right.
see it in practice when they send their students into the classrooms.
Right.
University Charter School could not be more open to receiving our students and to being good role models and to being good cooperating teachers. And especially in this time of this year of very few schools allowing face-to-face,
Mhm.
University Charter School, you know, UWA has tested everyone, and University Charter School opened the doors, and so they are accepting all of our interns that want to come and all of our field experience students. And another thing is that school is innovative in a way that they think of education in terms of place-based education.
Mm.
Can I use this place where we live to teach you about mathematics? How can I use this place where we live to teach you about parts of speech? And
Mm.
so it's just really, they're open to innovation and new ideas. They have in most cases, a fresh, young staff. And so it really is an exciting time there, where it's really such a collaboration between theory and practice.
That's awesome. You have to think outside the box in education. Is forever evolving and changing, especially with the pandemic going on. And just I said, what do I tell them? Their attention spans, the young ones. You have to try to grab their attention really fast and keep it. So that's great.
Yeah.
It's a great part.
See that when I come to campus next week. Miss
You
Doug.
will. We'll walk through the doors by
love
the
it.
conference room and
We
then you're
love
in
it.
school. And so
Yes.
it's great.
And it's great that we have a relationship too with like the curriculum director, and so he can call and say, you know, can we look at doing this kind of PD or that
Yeah.
kind of PD, or you know,
Mhm.
I know teachers come over and we're like, we need classroom, you know,
Yeah,
this,
manage
that,
that, we need
management,
whatever,
or we
yeah.
need whatever. We're like, we're on it. We're on it.
So
So,
excited. Like I can't wait. I'm so excited.
You will love it, Miss Haley. It really is just an ideal situation.
it really is.
Yeah, it seems
I'm
like
ha-
it's perfect.
I'm hoping all of you will join us for lunch, and I'm hoping that either Christopher or Tiffany can be the one to ambassador to give you your tour.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, because
No
I'm telling
pressure.
you, they are both just out of this world fantastic. Hey,
Absolutely.
Tiffany, are you ready to share with us your transfer experience and your China experience?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Always. So my name is Tiffany Webb, and I'm a senior. I graduated in December from University West Alabama, obviously. I'm an intern this semester, so I only have one supervising teacher. Her name is Casey Weekly, and she's awesome.
Mhm.
So my experience was a little different from, the normal transfer. I didn't know where I wanted to go. I was just like, I want to go to a school that has a great education program and is affordable. So I did my research, and the University of West Alabama, I'm sorry,
You're fine. Y'all look like y'all have a good time together.
I'm sorry. So I'm laughing.
They're best friends, Miss Haley. I don't know if
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
so sorry. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
definitely.
I'm sorry. So when I did my research, University of West Alabama was in the top 3 for best education program, and it was the most affordable. So I applied and I got accepted, and I attended preview day. So once I attended preview day, I was completely sold on the university. Everybody was so friendly and so helpful. It's not an act, like they're like this all the time.
Oh, I
25/8.
definitely know.
25/8. So
Mhm.
I went home and I applied for the Julia S. Tutwiler, the Black Belt, and transfer scholarship, and I received all of them. So I knew like UWA was the school for me. Like it's my school, and that was one of the best decisions that I have ever made. Like coming in, I thought, oh, it's gonna be hard making friends, or I don't know anybody. I was completely wrong. I met Christopher my first day here, and we're gonna be lifelong friends. Like it is not what you expect. Everyone here is super, super friendly. So I love Christopher.
That's awesome. Let me ask you a question, Tiffany. When you
Yeah.
transitioned from your 2-year to UWA, did you expect like a different campus life, or you had like a, can you talk a little bit about that campus life and trying to balance school as well for our
Yes.
students?
Yes, ma'am. So I was very, very involved at my community college, and it was really small. It was not many people, probably like 500, 600 students on campus
Mhm.
while it's in Selma. So it wasn't really a big difference in the school atmosphere. I still had basically the same class sizes and yeah, same class sizes basically. So I was very involved there. So when I got here, I was like, oh, I want to get involved here too.
That's
So with that, I did ambassador, resident assistant, SGA senator, the Black Belt Scholar, Julia S. Tutwiler Scholar, and yeah, I think that's it. So it's really not bad. So like you said, with the balancing of the schoolwork and extracurricular activities, your professors will help you if you want the help. Like my advisor is awesome. Dr. Griffith, she is amazing. Like I text her all the time and she's right there fixing any issue I have. She is always right there if I need anything. So it's really not hard if they really, really want the help, it's there. It's not really hard to go trying to balance anything. If they ask for help, they will receive help.
right.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's the fear factor for many of the students. When I do talk to the students, it's a little taboo. They feel like if they go to a community college, they're not able to transition to 4-year colleges, or maybe they felt as if they weren't good enough for a 4-year institution. And that's definitely not the case. I appreciate you and Christopher sharing your experience from a student perspective, because we're old, we don't, y'all can't relate to us. However, the students can definitely relate to both of your stories, Christopher and Tiffany. So this is great. I appreciate it. I hope to meet you guys next week, Tuesday, when I come to campus.
They'll be there. Hey, Tiffany, would you mind talking about yours and Christopher's trip to China? Because the thought of you guys being unleashed in a foreign country just frankly makes me laugh. So tell us a little bit about how UWA got you to China and what that experience was like for you guys.
Well, we can both talk about that, but I'm trying to think about the email. So when they first sent the email, I was like, China, like I'm about to go out the country. I'm interested because I've never been, so it's a new experience. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna apply. And I applied, didn't know I was really gonna get it. And then I got it, and everything was paid for by the College of Education. So we really didn't have to pay for anything. The only thing we had to pay for was the purchases that we bought from China. So I can go on about that, but I'm gonna cut it short with the China trip. We went to go teach the kids in a different country. So we created a lesson plan and we taught it to the kids, and it was about 2-year-old to about 5 years old. So it wasn't really a big older age group. And we really just taught the English alphabet and just common words that we use in America. And we went over there to teach them, but they really taught us how to be patient and how to be a better teacher overall.
Oh, that's awesome. That is so awesome. So you learned just as much as they
They
did.
did, yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. That
How
was
long were you guys
eye-opening.
there?
We were there, we left on the 7th and we came back on the 19th. Right?
Okay.
Yeah,
I
something like
forgot.
that. We were there for 2 weeks. We got there, we were supposed to go straight to Wuhan, right?
Oh, yeah, I went to Wuhan.
Anyway, we did go to Wuhan. I'm sorry if I didn't mean to say that. We were fine. That was way before. Anyway, so we got there and there was a typhoon the day we got there.
Oh, wow.
And so we had to stay in the airport for a really long time.
We spent the night.
we spent the night, and then we got to a hotel, and then we went to Disneyland the next day. So that was fun in Shanghai. And then we went on to the next city. We went to Wuhan. That was right. We went to Wuhan, and then we went to Beijing. And so we were there, and we didn't only get to experience the schools, we got to experience culture and in a whole new aspect. Of course, I'm from Sweetwater, Alabama, and that is literally the middle of nowhere. And so going and experiencing that and seeing how they were reacting to us and how we were reacting to them, eye-opening, and I'll remember it for the rest of my life and cherish that for the rest of my life, and especially bring it into my future classroom.
That's awesome. I often tell my students you have to kind of be a little uncomfortable to grow in life. And I'm
Yes.
sure that was an uncomfortable yet exciting situation, but it also, you know, is going to prepare you. And you're also, you know, like what you're doing now, you'll be able to give back to students that kind of feel a little antsy about, you know, maybe traveling overseas for internships or
Right.
opportunities like that. So that's great.
And that is an opportunity that we have when it comes to internships. So the university as a whole has partnerships with countries around the world and universities around the world that we could go to do our internships. I think I'm going to stay here, especially now in the little pandemic that we have going on. But that is an opportunity that was given to us in the past. And so I think if this stuff will just calm down just a little bit, some people will get to go and experience something even amazing and have those opportunities that we're so fortunate to have.
Yeah, that's great. That's
Thank
great.
you. Thank you guys for sharing that. I guess I just out of personal curiosity, what was the greatest difference between their educational system and ours that you guys noticed?
Oh, wow,
It's a lot.
a
They
lot.
started
A lot.
another language at 2 years old, and I thought that was amazing. Like, if they taught us another language that young, we could grow up and know multiple languages, and we'll be well diverse as a human race. So I think that was like the biggest difference for me, what I saw.
And then their classroom management, it was more one-on-one, first of all, because it was a private institution that parents were paying for their children to go to as infants, practically, to get educated. And the way it was described to us is that they're the brightest of students to go through their programs. And so they're super, super successful when it comes to university, when it comes time for that. And so they're branding them from the time that they start, even talking, hanging out, playing. They're thinking for the future. And of course, you know, we think we have a baby, oh, how cute, that kind of thing. And we don't think about, oh, we need to start doing this, and we need to start doing this, and we need to start doing this for the long run. And
That's right.
that definitely opened my eyes to, especially like when I decided to get married and have kids, that okay, we got to start reading early. We have to use, they don't use baby talk there. Like, they're talking in full sentences to their babies, and they're communicating, and the way that they're communicating is why they're so successful. And so that was really eye-opening to me.
So starting earlier.
Yes, I guess that's what I learned biggest, is start as early as you can.
Thank you for that. I guess to anybody, is there anything else that you guys feel like we could share about UWA while we have Ms. Haley on, and might benefit even the rest of our partner schools? Ms. Hester, Ms. Gordy, anything?
I just know that especially if you come as a transfer student, I can remember when Tiffany called me out of the blue. She got my office number, I guess, from the website. And as soon as I heard her story, I'm like, let me email that to you. You will have someone that will take a personal interest in you if you reach out.
And if not just one, multiple. You're going to have multiple people.
Yeah.
One person is not even fathomable here. You're going to have 10.
That's right.
And doesn't that help you guys as far as like establishing? So the goal of college is to get a degree. That's the goal.
Absolutely.
But on top of that, you learn, life skills,
Right.
things of that nature. And you form a network, a professional network. They're not just my friends. Let me get a little country. They're not my partners. They're not just my friends. They are, it's a professional network that I'm establishing, that can, in a sense, help and, give back, but also help you in the future. And, establishing relationships and rapport. I think that is totally key in college.
I'm glad you're in my network.
Me too, girl.
Right, that's right.
My bestie right there. BJ, my bestie.
That is right.
Well, if,
Now
yeah,
you started black belt, and I'll tell you something interesting this time, Brenda. I have a student that's now teaching, first year teacher.
Mhm.
3 of my black belt scholars that are choosing to do their service project in relation to that first year teacher, which I think is fantastic. She's teaching general science in middle school, and she has some project ideas. And then here I have 3 scholars that are like, well, great, well, let us work with you and make that your service project. And that was all without me.
We
That
had
is
nothing to
them
do with
building
that,
their own
right.
networks. So I think it's fantastic.
It
Because
is.
that's
They-
what teachers do. Yeah.
they get to have a say-so in how that goes down, and then the ability to give back. I love that component of your program, the giving back portion. I think it is just vitally important. I mean, because as a teacher, that's what you are. You're number one, you're a giver. I mean, you get up every
Yeah,
day.
it's
and that's-
sowing seeds. It's just a general rule of thumb in life. You know, the things that you put out there, whether it's positive or negative, you definitely get it back.
And I
Right.
would say that fully, it's what you give and what you get, especially here at EWA. If you're giving your 100%, everyone else around you is going to give their 100% to you.
That's
And,
right.
He's right.
We've
And my
created
advice,
great relationships with all the districts around us and stuff like that. Literally have principals that call all the time and saying, Miss Gordy, we want one of your teachers. We need one of your
Yeah.
teachers over here.
Wow.
You know, so
That says a lot.
it does. It really does. So
What a testament.
Yeah.
Well, if you guys don't have anything else to add, I just want to let you know how important you are to what I do, all of you, every single person that's on here. And I thank you so much for your time. And I look forward to being able to share this incredibly great information with lots of other people so that they can know what UWA is like from an insider point of view.